You've never, ever, 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 ever gotten one-tapped by a scav from 100 meters away with a quest item and went, damn, this game's so hardcore. I love it. You've never done that?
Sick.
I swear to God, I know you haven't. So if that didn't happen, it doesn't make the game easy. It just means that you might be able to kill the scav and then run into a player and die and go, this game's, you know what I mean? So it's like, ugh.
The best part about the podcast is that it provides an avenue for Veritas and Jesse Kazam to discuss all the poggers things in life that they are passionate about, such as Escape From Tarkov, chess, speedrunning, and everyday activities relevant to being a Twitch streamer. Furthermore, the podcast has been receiving a tremendous amount of love, which has been incredibly meaningful and inspiring to the hosts, leading them to believe that it will outlive their streaming career. Additionally, it has opened the door for community-driven content, with members of the community introducing new concepts that the podcast will explore and discuss. Beyond this, the podcast has produced its own dedicated YouTube channel where episodes can be watched and enjoyed. It is clear the best part about the podcast is the combination of meaningful conversations, supportive communities, and abundance of entertainment that it provides.
Bro, I know.
That was generated by a AI.
I know exactly who sent you the podcast GPT.
One of our community members, and I don't want to share the link.
No.
I'm not going to share the link, and I don't even know if I should say their name. I will next week.
Yeah. Just
with their permission, you know. Someone in our community, they took Chat GPT, like the SDK, the API, and they took their own version of it and trained it on like our entire transcript backlog of all of the episodes.
AI transcribe. He just gave it the YouTube playlist and had a separate AI transcribe all of it and then put all of the transcriptions into the Chat GPT SDK and created a podcast GPT. Now,
dude,
it's
unbelievable. Have you used it? I can't believe it,
bro. It is unbelievable. Let me read you something. One of my buddies got into it and he was like, all right. He was like, it's definitely not 100%. Because he typed in, has Jesse ever gotten mad at Veritas? And it says, yes, on the podcast, Jesse has gotten mad at Veritas. During the podcast, they discuss how Veritas is snarky to trolls and leading Jesse to say, dude, dripping with condescension. Dude, what is it, God? How rude. That was the direct
fucking
quote.
dripping.
That's the direct quote. So like it's
wait, that's crazy because it's always been, dude, it's always like, for me, it's always been spot on.
It's like 99% spot on.
This is a new segment. Every week I want to ask multiple questions and I'm going to read it. What's the worst part about the podcast? The worst part about the podcast is the negative opinions and comments from people who don't enjoy or care about the content. Despite featuring topics within the catchphrase, the poggers things in life like music, content creation, and video games, the podcast still receives criticisms from viewers, often in the Tarkov category.
Oh my
Veritas
God.
noted, quote, it's unreal because I enjoy this much more when there's less toxic people and we're talking about whatever we want and people in chat aren't.
Oh my God.
As such, negative feedback from toxic viewers is the worst part of the podcast.
Nail on the head, bro.
I have a couple more. I asked, does Nikita want to get rid of cheaters? Yes, Nikita wants to get rid of cheaters, as evidenced by the fact that he repeatedly states that he and BSG are doing their best to combat cheaters and work to make the game more fair. Moreover, he has taken steps to ban those who have cheated or exploit the game in some way, such as when he changed the Tarkov roadmap to remove a quest that rewarded those who avoided PvP. This is further supported by the fact that he shared screenshots of cheater chats who were panicking after a big update of the game. All of this shows that he's adamant about combating cheaters and wants to make the game more fair. I can't.
That's insane. It's insane.
Was removing Steam Audio a good idea? Will it help the game? It is likely that removing Steam Audio will not have a direct impact on the growth of Tarkov. Steam Audio is used to enhance the game's audio experience by applying post-processing effects to sounds and properly localizing them, but does not fundamentally affect Tarkov's base code. As such, it's unlikely that removing Steam Audio would directly level up the game's success. However, it's possible that removing Steam Audio could lead to bugs or otherwise disrupt the gameplay of Tarkov, which could harm the game's growth. In reality, Battlestate Games is likely more focused on continuing to add new guns and content, which is far more likely to have a negative impact on the game's growth. The AI just said, "I'm sick of future." It just said, "I'm sick of them adding content."
Bro, this is the most like dystopian Black Mirror thing that's ever really happened in my life.
I don't. I want to ask it one more thing, chat. Do you guys have any ideas for what we can ask it?
Insane.
I can't, dude. I can't. He's okay. He said the link is fine.
I don't post the link. Just say who did it. I'm not. The last thing we need is random people generating weird information about us. This is like a fear of mine that people just remember everything I've ever said in my life and then leverage it out of context against me.
Hear me out. It's just regenerating stuff you guys have said in the past. I mean, of course it is, but
yeah,
but that
if you've ever called your friend stupid and then in a courtroom they were like, you said your friend is stupid, it's like there was more context to it than that, right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, it's
you've said a lot of things in your life.
I don't have to remember the shit I've said because this thing is better at remembering. Like remembering that Nikita shared a screenshot of a cheater Discord, like when people panicking.
Yeah.
What should? Okay, wait. What? What was? There was a good question and I now forgot it. Let me think.
Oh yeah, somebody asked it about Leather Daddy.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh god!
Oh god!
Yes, AI is gonna report my gonna replace my story time. Will Escape from Tarkov ever be finished? Let's see. Yeah, what? The completion of Escape from Tarkov is uncertain. It's possible that its current state is not the finished product, and that the additional content may be added in the future. Jesse and Veritas, the co-hosts of the podcast, thank you, Podcast GPT.
Thank you, Podcast
discussed
GPT.
the possibility of further content being added based on the recent trailer that was released. Jesse suggested that Streets of Tarkov may come out at the end of 2020, and that it will bring some closure to players who have been playing since 2017. Definitely did not do that.
Closure.
He also said that new players should not be discouraged by the negative Nancy's, as the content that is being released will be exciting and new. Overall, although no definite answer has been given, there is potential for Escape from Tarkov to be finished, and players should remain hopeful.
That's epic.
It's absurd, dude.
It is crazy.
It's absurd. Yeah, we'll
2020.
We'll potentially toss the link in the show notes. This just
it's hilarious. It's the most ridiculous thing.
Unbelievable. So yeah, you just had your 12-hour drop stream, and like a trooper, you're like, yeah, we can do the podcast live after that. So you've been live for what, 13 hours before that, and then. Yep.
So we just did that, bro. Okay, so this was my second drop stream. The first one I did was overnight. It was from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Bro, let me tell you, so I started at 8 p.m. At about 1 a.m., from 1 a.m. to 8 a.m., I didn't survive a raid. So it was like 10,000 people watching me just constantly mess up and die, and me just like hemorrhaging money and make no progress. I gained like half a level. It was the worst. I was exhausted.
Dude, that reminds me of 2 years ago. One of my most popular clips, it might be my most popular clip, was I had 102,000 viewers and I got killed 3 raids in a row by a cheater who was like
Oh.
harassing me, and it was like Veritas gets owned by a cheater in front of 100,000 or whatever. It's like, and I think there was like a Reddit post about it. And it was like,
my
ooh, it doesn't look
woof.
good. But yeah, dude,
today
I feel you.
we did the drop stream, 13-hour stream. I died one time. It was like the complete karma flip of just like, it was great. It was progress. It was good. Tons of tasking. It was amazing.
Wow. I wonder if it's the time period, like if it's the time of day, right?
I don't
like
know.
we talked about this before.
I mean, yeah,
earlier.
it could be, but like, I was also playing like cheeks that night. I'm really bad at staying up all night. Like I just get tired and cranky, and I was playing really poorly as well.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, that's just me by default. Yeah.
But yeah,
What's your survival rate at now?
I don't know.
Like,
I
what?
pull up the game up again. I hemorrhaged it. The first 3 days of the wipe were really good. I was at like 75%, and then I think I dropped it down to 55 to 60% that day. But we should be back up pretty decent now.
So you think it's like 60 something percent?
Yeah, definitely in the 60s. Yeah, high 60s.
Legend. Yeah, I think I'm at least in the 40s now, which is better than.
We've been doing like 4-mans though. It wasn't playing. I normally do it with Seal ton around
That
the
helps.
wipes. Yeah, and then like Velian was hopping in, and then like One Peg has been hopping in. So we've been like running 4-mans. Right before I got off, I was playing with Velian, Airwing Marine, and Devil Dog. And it was just like it helps so much because even when you die, you just get your stuff back. You know what I mean? Or they bring it out.
Like, and the thing that.
Yeah, back up to 70% even.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like, and the thing that it's easy to forget. Like, let's say let's say you're doing a customs raid, right? Customs has, let's say, 10 people on average.
Yeah.
If you are solo, you have 9 enemies and you're the only target.
Yep.
If you're a 4-man, you're one of 4 targets and you have 6 enemies.
Yep. And
so you are half the lobby
Yeah.
and you're 1/4 of a group.
Yep.
So you've multiplied your chances of survival by like, I don't know what the math is, but like 7 million.
But a ton, yeah. And on average, of those 6 other enemies, several of them are going to be squatted up. So let's say that's 3 squads of 2. Well, that means there's only really 3 people's pathing to worry about. So like one squad might just go the other way for a different question. You're not even going to run into them. So now your targets whittle down to 4 potential people. So like squatting up, yeah, it really helps. It really helps a lot. I totally understand. And I'm back and forth on it. 4s can get crazy. Like the 4s we were doing with Devil Dog and Airwing and Velian were like super clean. We all knew where we were. But like if it can get real crazy real quick. But yeah, squatting up can help a ton.
Yeah, and I mean, it also depends on the people. Like you have to be good at squatting.
Yes.
Because I'm sure that my survival rate playing with a squad would be less than yours.
Yeah.
Because you are better at squatting because you've done it.
Yeah.
For,
so much.
I've done like 7 squad raids in my career. So like,
yeah.
Obviously that's an exaggeration, but yeah, I've been. Overall, I think things have been. It's interesting where.
Yeah. I'd love to hear just your thoughts on the whole wipe now that we're like 8 days in.
Good question.
Yeah.
A lot of like my sentiment is the snowballing of 4 years of the same kind of things. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
Complaining about the stamina bar one time. If I was this mad after one experience, right? Like it'd be one thing, but my biggest thing this patch has been the combination of like 6 changes that not even changes, but like things that have kind of slowly changed over time, and other things that have changed more recently. I would say like if you combine the speed and way in which hydration and energy drain, couple that with like the weight and the stamina bar, and then couple that with the loot, the prices of loot, and the economy right now. Like I'm gonna go ahead and say something that I'm sure a million people are gonna disagree with. Although the fact that Ghost Freak says that he's been struggling, and he's
nuts.
He's the best player in the goddamn world.
He's
like
so
he's
good.
one of the one of the. You can say I'm dog shit all you want, but I ain't wrong because I'm dog shit.
Yep.
But it's come to the point where I have a stash full of junk, but none of the things are of particular value.
Yeah.
If I had a bunch of toolkits, I'd be rich right now.
Yeah.
But instead, I've got like 1 million, blood sets and rechargeable batteries and whatever. And every time I've gone to sell things on the fleet, like I had 1 million like AA batteries and a whole bunch of other junk, and it was like so many items. The fee is 70% of the market value.
Yep.
So then, and again, this is. I'm just gonna walk through like what goes through my head within like a one raid period.
Yeah.
I start up and it's like, okay, I need to buy food and water because right now I don't have any. We'll talk about why. So then I go and I spend 30,000 rubles on crackers,
and a bottle of water.
And a bottle of water.
Yeah.
30,000 rubles, right? Which is not an insignificant. I mean, that's a rifle.
Yeah.
That's a mount for a scope.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into a raid, with whatever like mediocre gear I have. The fact that it takes like 500 clicks, like we've talked about before, just to do everything, to go build the pieces, to build the things when you have a bunch of junk in your stash and there's not a lot of space, it's annoying to build and, assemble everything, whatever. You get into a raid after you spent way more time than you wanted to, selling junk to have enough to buy the water bottle and all that stuff. And then you die. You have an unlucky raid and you die in 10 seconds. And now you're back in your stash. I have 4,000 rubles. I can't afford to heal with therapists. And all I have access to are car med kits.
Yeah.
So then I have to go buy 7 car med kits just to fill my health back up. But before that, I have to go through and sell 11 blue tape and 4 duct tape and 5 bolts and 6 nuts. And so like I haven't been able to, everything on my hideout's level 1.
Yeah.
I have 40,000 rubles. My stash is full of things I need for the hideout and future quests.
Yep.
That
you don't want to sell.
Actually not worth. They're not worth a ton on the flea, the quest items, because they need to be found in raid.
Yeah.
So it's really only the hideout stuff, which I don't want to sell because I need it. And even then, I only have like 4 of each thing.
Yeah.
So it's so cumbersome. If I want to sell 4 bulbs, 4 helix radiators, 4 tubes, 4 scissors, 4 water filters, 4 S lamps, 4 clins, 4 propane, it's just so much work, and I want to raid.
You just want to, you want to be,
I just want to raid
in the actual video game, playing the video game. Yeah.
The best raid I had in the last week, I was duoing with Tower. We went into Shoreline, walked up on a duo 2 feet from us that we didn't hear. The duo I killed one, Tower killed one, the other killed Tower, I killed the last one.
Okay.
So it was like 3 dead bodies, a bunch of good gear. Like one of the dudes had like a kitted out SVD, Tower had like a sick Val, or I forget what it was actually. One of them had like a pretty kitted, actually there were 2 kitted AKMs. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now, I had my stomach blacked.
Okay. So you're just like hemorrhaging energy and water.
The amount of water, the amount of time we had spent in the raid, basically, plus my stomach being blacked, I was almost out, right? Yeah. So I'm in the middle of Shoreline. All I can do is pick up 1 gun, 1 set of armor, and in the like an armored rig, and fill that with like some grenades and some meds I took off the guys.
Yep.
I didn't even make it to any buildings. Not a single building. We walked through the wilderness, got in a fight. And then now I have no water, no energy, and in order for me to like win, I need to get out with some of this gear.
Yep.
I can't take a third of the gear, and I had to slow walk because I ran out of energy. Slow walk from the middle pumping station all the way to like the road to customs. It was 20 minutes of walking at 0 stamina because of the weight and my energy. and
Yep.
and then I made it back, and I was able to put one gun and one armor. Then I had to repair my armor, get all this new stuff.
Yeah.
Buy 2 bottles of water and a thing of peas to fill my thing up full, and then buy another bottle of water and peas so that it doesn't happen in the next raid.
Yep.
It's like, again, I don't want to be negative Nancy.
No, I get
but
you.
it's just like these
It's
things just don't need to be the way they are.
yeah. Yeah. So like, I really do, more than previously, like, resonate with that sentiment. It's tedious is just like a really good word for so many of the things. So like, my general thoughts on the wipe are like, there's so many things to love. They're all completely clouded by all of the things that were bad are worse. Audio didn't get better, it got worse. The desync and the rubber banding and like the crazy network latency and stuff like that is really, really bad on all maps, especially streets. So that didn't get worse. And like the cheating and stuff like that, I'm already seeing crazy clips. So I'm assuming it's not, infinitely better. But like, it's so like, there's so much to love about the patch that I'm like super excited for. But a lot of it is like so clouded by those things. And then on top of that, the third kind of thought process I've been having around it was like, I don't know if you saw Pep was playing. Did you see his tweet? I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. Pep was like, man, it's been like, Pep was like, I'm not a newbie. I am a veteran. Like, I have played this game thousands of hours. He's like, I haven't played it in like a year or two. And I was like, he said, he was just like, the game feels terrible to play. Like, it just feels terrible. And there was just something about going from like my max level, Giga Chat Andy to like this wipe, that I really feel it more than before. I was just like bright-eyed bushy tails. Like, I really feel the game. It's like, we were talking about this the other day on stream, where it's like all of the systems just need like compression almost. Like level 1 endurance should feel like level 20 endurance. And level 51 endurance should feel like level 40 endurance. And then we should just spread that out, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole endurance from 1 to 51 should be effectively 20 to 40. We should start with more, and then maybe at the max, we should have a little bit less. Like, everything is it's so extreme. You know what I mean? It feels like everything came from the end game experience and not the new player experience. You know what I mean? Where like, we don't want people running super fast, so we're just gonna like completely get rid of any sort of stamina or running speed. And now you have this experience where like, just the fundamental part of game design of like, what does the game want me to do? What is the game trying to tell me? And that exact situation is so hard, where like the whole immersion of this is like, go in. I'm pretty sure it says it at like the end of their trailers and stuff like that. It's like, get in, get loot, get out, or something like that. Like, the whole point of the game is to like go in and loot. And you go in, and if you do everything right and you kill a bunch of people, you can only effectively take out 15% of the loot when you're low level like that. If you don't have 3 mules and SJ6s and you don't have 51 endurance, you can only take out 15 to 20% of the loot. And you're choosing between loot that will make you money or like loot that's gear you want to run. You know what I mean? Because like you said, I can get out with a full backpack full of loot, but then lose money because I got that stuff with stuff that I want to use later, another gun or another armor. So now I have to repair my armor, buy more bullets, buy this stuff, because you kind of have to choose one way or the other. So it's just like, so many of the things feel too stretched out. Like, as a Chad, I agree. I don't want to be flying 200 miles an hour. I don't want to have unlimited stamina. But on the bottom end, as a level 1, I'm still a fully trained military guru guy. I should be able to walk more than 10 feet without getting an asthma attack. I should be able to pick up more than one gun. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about realism. It's just the game. It's like the whole purpose of the game. So I've been feeling that a lot recently, where like, a lot of the systems, the weight mechanic, I like in the game. The soft skills, I like in the game. I think that's where I've arrived. It's just like, all of these systems are way too spread out.
Yeah.
We should have like, max endurance would be like a significant change. Max endurance would be a thing people really wanted to grind for if it only did half as much as it does right now. Like I said, if we bring up level 1 endurance, and then do it from there, 1 to 40 or 1 to 50, people would still it would still totally be something that people wanted to grind for. So I've been feeling that a lot recently, where just like the game is really just doesn't know what it wants you to do. Sometimes it feels like it wants you to spend as much time out of the raid as possible. And it's hard. It's hard because like when you have a good experience, it's so good. Me and Airwing had this raid where like we ended the fight and it was like we literally both were like, this was such a Tarkov fight. Like we were maneuvering on somebody, he was trying to flank, we were trying to flank, we pinned him down, we were patient, he made a mistake, I hit him from a super long angle, and it was just like, this was so much fun. But so much of the game outside of that is just like, I don't know.
Yeah, like imagine being immersed in a fight and it's like you eat. If you eat the crackers before you drink the apple juice, you've now signed your own death warrant.
Yeah.
Give me a fucking break. Just like stupid shit like that just doesn't need.
And like we've talked about before, it's like this hierarchy of like how much you're willing to pull up with Tarkov's bullcrap is directly related to how much of that bullcrap you've had to put up with. So back in the day, when you would go tons of raids without seeing a cheater, or tons of raids without experiencing like crazy bad desync or something like that, it's not as bad. But now you have stuff like the scav shooting you from 150 meters away through bushes. That'll be one raid. The very next raid, you won't hear a team at all come up and fight you. The very next raid, it'll be like crazy desync and you'll think it was a cheater. The next raid, it might be a cheater.
Will be a cheater. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the next raid, and then you have a raid where everything was perfect in the game, but you just died. The guy just hit a good shot, but at that point, you have no patience left to be like, good shot, man, because of all the other bullcrap. You know what I mean? Like
And then the next raid, if you survive, you might have a chance. You can either take armor and a gun, or you have a backpack full of food.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's hard because it's so good when it's good. And yes, you can min max and meta it. And if you're good at the game, then it's not worried about. But like, there's such a difference between like good game design and you being able to master bad game design. And I think that's what we're talking about here. And then even within those things, there's levels of things that can be controlled and can't be controlled. Like you and I both believe that BSG is working hard, maybe not everything, I don't know, but is working hard to combat the cheaters. But it doesn't mean that we don't get frustrated when we die to a cheater. But that's a different type of frustration than when I die to scavs shooting me 150 meters away through bushes. That's a thing where I'm like, today, you could fix this. Audio, I understand is complicated. Networking, a game that 500,000 people play, I can give some there. But like for 4 years, I'm dying to scavs shooting me, 360 shooting me, launching grenades out of their mouth at me. You know what I mean? Like that, I'm like, today. You could just type in scavs equals suck and that's a band-aid. So, and then like the weight thing, stuff like that. It's like, I know that today you could lower the weight, make the weight limit higher so that I can carry more stuff out. So even then there's a hierarchy of things that it's like, this I'm frustrated at because I know you can control. This I'm frustrated at because I wish you would have fixed by now, but I can understand it's a little bit harder. This I kind of understand it's much harder to fix, but I'm so frustrated when I die. And so it's just like, there's just so many things. And it's just hard to get a solid scotch-free raid. I've done one PMC on Streets of Tarkov. One PMC. 15 minutes we were in there. No rubber banding. Okay? We're moving through. Night raid. Super immersive. By the way, Night Streets is chef's kiss. Shooting out street lights. I felt like I was playing Splinter Cell, dude. I was trying to stay in the dark areas. 15 minutes. Absolutely no stutters, absolutely no desync, absolutely no nothing. It was so sick, bro. I hear a shot. I hear one shot. I get the packet loss thing. I hold W and I'm just rubber banding. And I see my arm go, my leg go, my stomach go, my other arm go, and I fall over dead. And I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. The whole raid was fine. I heard one shot. It was at me. I start rubber banding. And I haven't done a raid since. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah, I did a few streets raids, and yeah, I've been trying every single combination of like graphic settings and like V-Sync, G-Sync, low reflex, blah blah, like all of these things, and it's like it gives me a headache, dude. It's like it's like a strobe light that was at like infinite speed that's like too subtle to notice. It's like what it feels like.
Oh yeah.
I had a bunch of people send me DMs, giving me ideas. I've tried a bunch. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's rough, but yeah, I mean, and that's just visual. That's not even the networking.
Yeah.
There are plenty of times where you're just walking and it's just it's like you're walking into a wall, you know, and yeah, but like I think a lot of people miss the point of like some of the things that we're talking about. Or they think that like if I'm criticizing the weight system or if I'm criticizing like the price of water, well, they say, well, it's supposed to be this post-apocalyptic, like water's supposed to be rare, so you get over it. And it's like, agreed. So if they made it so that I didn't lose, if I don't go from fully hydrated to dying of dehydration in half of a raid, from walking across half of a town, right? Well, then it'd be fine. Then the scarcity and the price of the things would be reasonable.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know?
There's always, that's such a good point. There's always like a two sides to the coin where it's like, if you want it to be like the realism of immersion, well, then give me the realism of like, I could, if I was fully hydrated and energy, I could spend more than 30 minutes before I was on the brink of death. Or if you don't want the realism, then make bottles of water 2,000 rubles. It's like because it's the both ways. It's the fact that it never goes both ways. Exactly. It's the realism of like, oh, well, you wouldn't be able to run for 2.5 miles with a raid bag full of gear. And it's like, I'll give you that. Then let me run with a gun and a helmet more than 100 feet. I got a freaking Mosin and a penis helmet on, and I can't run. Let me, if you're going to go the realism route on one side, don't go the other way too. That's the problem, is that it's both sides are attacked of everything. The weight system, it's both sides are attacked. The food and water, both sides are attacked. It's like a lot of times with the economy too, both sides are attacked, and it's like, pick one. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's the other thing that like people, they can't conceptualize. They think about the extreme and say, this, you know, if you get shot in your thigh and your thigh bone shattered, could you run?
Yeah.
As if that's like a relevant argument,
at all,
right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you what I could do. I promise you that with a backpack, fill the backpack halfway up with stones. I don't care. Give me a gun, give me some body armor and a helmet. I can jog for 60 seconds, and I promise you, now, unfortunately, hopefully, we'll never test this, but I promise you that if someone is shooting at me,
gun,
I will be able to at least slow jog for at least another 30 seconds to the tree in front of me.
You want to know what I'll tell you I can do? If someone is shooting at me and I'm about to die, I can walk through a bush. Bro.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and I mean, you can even, that's one side of the ridiculous spectrum. Then there's the other side of like, you've been shot in the head 27 times. Should you be able to survive? Like, clearly not. But then there's parts in the middle where people are like, oh, well, yeah, you know, you get shot and you go into shock and you won't be able to move. And it's like, there are also people who've been shot 17 times where their adrenaline kicks in and they don't even realize it until they go to itch themselves and feel the blood. Yeah. You know, like,
I also just don't care about, you know what I mean? About the like realism. It's just like, I just don't care if you don't think I can do it in real life. I couldn't care any less than I do. It would be impossible for me to care less what I can do in real life. I want to see
them do it in real life.
Exactly. I just don't care. We're playing a video game, all right? In this video game, and that's the thing, is once again, we circle around this all the time. They think we want the video game to be easier, and they think that's bad because the video game should be hardcore. We want the video game to be a better video game, to showcase the real actual ways the video game is hardcore, right? Like, that's what we want. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm so stuck. The reason, like, exactly, like if you do around here and you think that, oh, all we're doing is like whining about everything, I'm so frustrated about this because in the early wipe experience, this game would be so much fun if I could move a little bit farther, if I could carry a little bit more stuff, if you know what I mean? Like those things would allow you to get into more situations where the hardcore aspects of this game shine. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say. You've never, ever, 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 ever gotten one-tapped by a scav from 100 meters away with a quest item and went, damn, this game's so hardcore. I love it. You've never done that?
Sick.
I swear to God, I know you haven't. So if that didn't happen, it doesn't make the game easy. It just means that you might be able to kill the scav and then run into a player and die and go, this game's, you know what I mean? So it's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like, hardcore is not like a binary. There's a spectrum, and there are a lot of the changes that I would propose as like solutions to these problems. They might even be arguably more hardcore,
yeah.
arguably more challenging, but better and more coherent. Like, there's a world in which you make it so that you can't buy any food or water from the traders at all, and it's like 1% as available as it is in Raid today.
Yeah.
Except it would be a week of gameplay before your energy would go to 0 from 100.
Yeah.
So, like, you have to constantly be looking for food to find the one. Yeah.
Because you might need it in a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, that's, in my opinion, a better game. It's more hardcore. It's more immersive. It requires more. The idea that, like, it's somehow more Giga Chad hardcore, I'm a fucking badass, if once per day you have to go to the back of, like, Goshen to play supermarket sweep to fill your bag with food. That's more hardcore and realistic in these people's eyes. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. They're looking like these are the people that look in the mirror and they see these giant muscles on them, but then, like, the camera pans at them and it's like the little kid, like little giants, you know, it's like,
yeah,
these people have like this idea that they're masculine Giga Chad gods. If they say all of the things that give them a bad time in the game are good.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's good. That's definitely good. Love it. No, it's good. You want to improve the UX on the menus? Nah, dude, that, like, there are people that have made, and they are just a slightly worse version of the other people who are a little bit more reasonable. People that have said that when I propose like a quick sell feature for the market, that is, it makes it it casualizes it, and it's too easy. It's too, like, it shouldn't be easy to go sell things in bulk on the flea market. And I mean, like,
these are also the
Guantanamo Bay should be opened for these people again, because, like,
yeah, because those are also the same type of people that say the game is easy as it is. They're like, oh, you just need to get good. Like, anytime you criticize, it's like, oh, just get good. The game's easy, bro. It's easy. Somebody in chat earlier said solo is easy if you're good at the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Brain surgery is easy if you just know how to do it. Like, yeah,
insert. Or they will pretend as if, like, they've played 3 raids this white, but they watch insert streamer here.
Yeah, 100%. They've watched 1,000 Giga Chad raids, so they feel like they could do it.
I had 2 separate people, and I'm not going to call anybody out because, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's just not worth it. I've had 2 different people in the last stream I had that both came to me and said, this streamer A and this streamer B, they don't have any problems. They're like a Giga Chad, and they go after all of the PvP, and they also make money, and they don't do loot runs. And those 2 people I have talked to privately off stream and asked them, hey, man, what's your secret?
Yeah.
And they've both told me, oh, I choose this one server because nobody plays on it, and I play nighttime interchange raids so I can farm GPUs, and it's easy money because I run into maybe one person, and they're dead.
Yep.
Like, the lobbies are dead. And these are the people that folks are telling me are the ones that, like, because they have 1 billion rubles, it's too easy to make money.
Yep.
And everything I'm saying is wrong because insert streamer here can do it better. So, like, what? I don't know how to respond to that other than I don't care. You know, like, what someone else does. I don't know.
No, I totally get it. But, like, that's where I'm at, is that, like, once again, it's out of, I love this game so much. And, like, when I'm in the early wipe, I'm constantly reminded of how much fun the game could be. You know what I mean? And so it's like, It's like, yeah, dude, if you want to see me just saying everything in the game is perfect, go watch podcast episodes 1 through 10, you know, back when I was bright-eyed bushy tail. But it's like, I want, like, this game is so good and it has so much potential, and it's like, and it's just like so clouded by some of the things, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I don't know.
So many of them are simple and can be easily done,
yeah,
right?
And enough of them are simple to make a big difference. They're not all simple. Like you said, they're not all simple. Audio's not simple. Anti-cheat's not simple. But enough of them are simple that it feels like that it would make a big enough difference to make the game super enjoyable. You know what's weird too? Is that every time we propose any sort of changes, people are like, your opinions suck. You know what I mean? Like, that would make the game easier. But like, what's the freaking community's thought process around inertia and the weight system? Like, every other tweet is give me 2018 Tarkov. But then when we're like, the weight system's a little too extreme, they're like, it's hardcore, man. And I was like, didn't you just freaking tweet that you wanted to get rid of it? I don't know. It's freaking weird, bro. Anyways.
I mean, a year ago, I did my video on AI, and I interviewed Nikita and talked about it.
Yeah.
A year ago, a significant portion, I don't know if it was the majority, the minority, it doesn't really matter either way, but a noteworthy portion of people, and still to this day, will say that scavs are fine. You know, and another version of the whole I loot on dead servers at night, and that's how I make my billion rubles, was the rogues are fine because I can slow lean and they don't shoot at me.
Exactly.
So therefore don't change the rogues.
I know the 10 angles they can't see.
And now all of a sudden, it seems to be popular opinion that scavs are scuffed. They might be worse than they were.
Dude.
To me, they feel exactly the same. It doesn't matter whether they're worse or not. But the one thing that I proposed to Nikita, it was the one thing I like begged, you know, the guy to do, was just turn the accuracy and the speed, just turn the numbers down a little bit. Just turn them down, make them, because he admitted they're not good. Like, they're not well designed, they're not clever, they're not immersive in many ways. He wants them to be. And I said, great, that's fine. Take your time and do that.
Take your time.
In the meantime, can you just make them, like, I'd rather them be dog than be completely broken, like indistinguishable from aimbot cheaters, right?
Yes.
And he said,
when the rogue bosses,
just wait. He said, wait until we put the rogue bosses in, and then we'll revisit it. And it's been a year, and now they're worse than they were before.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's just another one of the things that adds up to like my crankiness, because it's like, I'm not just salty because I died to a scav in last raid.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that, you know?
Yeah. So Logical Solutions just tweeted this out, that about 10 or 11 hours ago, they did actually nerf the scavs a little bit. So we'll go through this, but I have some points. So they apparently they nerfed their spread, which I guess would be one way of saying their accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
How if they're going to hit shot at when firing it just says when firing automatic weapons. I died to SKS scavs more than anyone else, but
shotguns.
Yeah, ground scavs. So like, you know how there's like different
ground scavs, like they're fucking tree scavs, ground scavs.
Well, it's sniper scavs and ground scavs, but you know how like there's
water
like
scavs,
earth scav,
thunder
fire
scavs, rock scav. There's ghost scav.
You know how
poison scav.
You know how there's like different scavs that spawn in with different health pools that are like different.
Yep.
Yeah, so the easy scavs, their spread was reduced by 15%. Normal, hard, and impossible were reduced by 30%. Sniper scavs, all the difficulties were reduced by 28%. So it's a pretty decent amount.
I'm sorry, I just read, then the fire scavs attack.
the Fire Nation.
Sorry.
So honestly, I don't know. I hope that that's better. I hope that that's a better start. You know, my thing has always been like, they still just don't play by our rules. They don't get aim punched. They never ADS. They don't have recoil, and they can see me through bushes. Their accuracy is absolutely at the core of the problem, but also those things that surround it. And it's definitely not just scavs with full auto weapons. Going back to what you said though, I definitely agree where you were like, they might be 10% harder or like 5% harder, but people are, dude, And I'm like, I made a video too. I made a video called "The Scavs in Tarkov Suck, but they don't have to," and it was my plead. It was just I just had to get it all off my chest. I didn't like send it to BSG. I just put it out there, and nothing that's happening in the game is new. Maybe they're a little more accurate, or maybe they can see me from a little bit farther away, but all the same crap a year ago or 8 months ago when people in the comments thought I was crazy and said it would absolutely ruin the game if you changed the scavs at all. I don't see that much of a difference between what they have been for 2 years and what they've been since this wipe. Maybe they
there have been short bursts where they were completely terrible, like and that was the best. Those were the golden periods, because it was like now like in my opinion, the normal scavs should be the stormtrooper filler
for sure.
Let me kill horde mode. Let me kill 70 of them in a wave, like Left 4 Dead style. I don't care, because when all of that gunfire draws in the 2-man over there and the 3-man from over there, then the real experience starts. Because then I shoot and then I flank and then there's a scav over there. I shoot while I'm trying to heal, and it's so much fun.
And and people think that if the scavs were easy, everybody would just have infinite loot. It's like when you die to a scav and you don't get your loot back in insurance, that's because a PMC was hearing that noise and he was running over to you to kill you. So it's like, not if the scavs are easier, that doesn't mean you just survive every raid all of the sudden. It means you make more noise shooting other things, and other PMCs that need PMC kill quests are going to come and you're going to get into a fight. You're going to get into a proper fight with a player in the multiplayer game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all the Giga Chads that are like, I just want PvP. There's no PvP. Well, if you made it so that there were twice as many scavs and they were 10% as accurate as they were, you'd have a lot more PvP and it'd be a lot more fun.
So once again, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say on stream, on my last wipe stream, I was pulling up a bunch of old videos. I played because I spent so much time in the menus.
Yeah.
I pulled up the history of Tarkov and was going through and educating a lot of the new players on some of the history. But I also pulled up a bunch of the highlight videos from 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, even 0.11, and people were like, it wasn't perfect. Not everything about it was better than, but you see the engagement. I don't have engagements like I used to, very common anymore, where you'd see I would come to a guy and we'd load a few bullets into each other, and then we'd have to run away and reload, and you get another guy and you're getting flanked and you kill him, and then you look and there's a scav and he hits your leg and then you kill him, and then the fights do not last for long now. They just don't. And it's a combination of everything from weight to the ballistics to the armor to the health to the scavs. I mean, just a million things all put together. Anything that makes the like PvP, the combat experience last longer. I mean, like, think about what I'm saying. I'm saying what the changes I want will make it so that you play the game more. Dude, like when I would do chess streams or Trackmania streams or even COD streams, I could go for 15, 16 hours and like not be tired. But when I play Tarkov, I'm exhausted after 6 hours because I would say 80% of my time is spent in the menus or in queue. Every other game, I play chess. I'm playing chess for 15 hours, and 99% of the time I'm playing the game, using my brain, thinking, and it's like, and I know it's chess, so like you can say that for anything, but it's just exhausting.
So many of the things we talk about, it's just like, I just want to be able to spend more time in the game, playing the game. And what I was going to say is, once again, it's another thing where like, I like what BSG has done. I like that there's different levels of scavs. I like that scavs can spawn with different amount of kits. I like the ever-present threat of a scav. I don't want to remove the possibility to die to a scav or to have a scav ruin a flank or something like that. People are just like so binary with it, where they're like, if you change the scavs at all, that means you should basically just delete them, because then they wouldn't even be in the game and they wouldn't be a threat. And it's like, it's so crazy. It's like, I actually really like a lot of just like the weight system, just like inertia, just like the soft skills in the game, just like I like the basic ethos of what was done. It's just, it feels like everything is tuned to 100 or to 0. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Is all I want to do is adjust, not me personally, but all I want for Tarkov is to adjust the dials a bit. I don't want to shut things off. I don't want to turn them up to 100. I just want to adjust the dials a little bit. You know what I mean? And people, well, I don't care what people think. That's just what I think, is that like, I truly love this game, and I truly, truly get glimpses of its freaking masterful design so often, but it's just like hidden behind these things so often, and it's frustrating. And then any sort of change is just pissing somebody off, which I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I like the people that disagree. The only reason why it upsets me so much is because I feel like those voices, very often are the ones that trickle to the developers, who then say, "Oh, okay, we're not going to make the good changes that so much of the community wants, because there are people that like these systems. Well, then they can't be bad. Yeah, if people like them, if these 17 people like them, then all of the other people who are malding, they must just be malding because people like to complain. It can't be valid criticism if these people like them. Yeah. And then the game never changes in the way that it should, you know? So yeah. So it's anyway, whatever. So general thoughts on the wipe. Yeah, like there are some awesome. There have been a lot of like little quality of life stuff too. Like, I don't know if you notice, you can sell stuff to the traders that's in cases now. Like, you can right click and open a case and sell stuff directly to a vendor. I've only seen the bug where the menu covers your screen. Oh yeah, I've had that. If you're at like Therapist, it's Alt Tab out. Right click your Scav junk box and click open, and then you can just control click everything into Therapist. Infinitely better. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Dude, I really wish that double clicking, and there's a lot of contexts where when you double click, it doesn't open the containers. Yep. Where it does by default. I just wish it would do that. Yeah, you have to right click open. Yeah. So like, there's tons of changes. Definitely like back to just the loving the feeling of early wipe. I've been saying a lot that recently. So everybody talks about how they love the early wipe the best. You know what I mean? Like that's like the pseudo. Everyone says early wipe, and I was talking earlier about like, I want that early wipe fight, but I want it mid and late wipe, in the sense that like, I want those early wipe fights also when I'm not worrying about quests. Like, I'm running away from a lot of PvP right now because I have a quest item or multiple on me, or a hideout item or something. And that's okay. I like the quests as part of the game. I love the hideout. I've already almost maxed it out just because I love it so much. I love that kind of stuff. And I love that those things make me nervous about raids and do give me thought about running away. But like, in the mid game, I want to have 5 million rubles, not as many quests, and still only have access to the rickety guns and the scuffed PvP fights. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want the early game forever. I don't want to be questing forever. I don't want to be doing like super monotonous random quests forever. I also want to have those fights with the rickety old guns and the half durability Mosin mid wipe. You know what I mean? When every death isn't like, oh, that was like half of my kit. Like, that was half of the kits I had in my stash, that death right there. I feel like that would be so much fun. You know what I mean? The fun of the early wipe fight, when you've got a little bit of a nest egg, or when you've got some stuff unlocked from the traders. You know what I mean? Like an actual meds and stuff like that. I feel like that would be kind of dope. Agreed, dude. And we've outlined how to do that many times, but 850,000 times. But I've been feeling that again because I have had so many fights. I've had plenty of fights the past few days where I've died and I went like, oh dude, early wipe fights are so fun. Like, even when I die, you know what I mean? Because when none of those other things cuck me, when it's not the rubber banding or the audio or the scavs or the this or the that, and I get into a good fight, even when I die, I'm like, oh man, like, we tried to flank him, he tried to flank us, like, that was a good fight, and it's GG's. And so I want more of that, you know what I mean? I want less instant one tap from Immune with a Voodoo, and I want more AKS 74U freaking iron sights and a suppressor, you know? So yeah, there have been a few examples of situations where the game has felt really good. Like, it felt like old Tarkov, and it was when a fight lasted longer than the initial
bullet
spray.
Yeah.
I want to be able to, like, if you think about it, medical animations, reloading mechanics, gun jams, all the healing stuff, stims, it's all completely and utterly pointless if you don't survive getting hit with a bullet.
Not survive every fight, but survive long enough in the fight to do those things.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and again, if you watch so much of my old content, if I was in a 1v5 and I killed 4 and then died to the 5th guy,
yeah,
because I ran out of ammo or the timing or they outplayed me or whatever, that's so much fun. It's not about dying.
Yeah.
It's about, but these days what happens is I'm running along, I have no stamina or no energy, or whatever, and then all of a sudden I don't hear a bullet. I hear like the but then like I just see limbs starting to get blacked out or whatever, and it's like I try to run, but I have no stamina because I'm 1 kilogram over, and there's nothing I can do. I can't crouch. I can't prone.
Yeah.
And then I look down and I'm stuck on like the curb because I have to jump over to get over it, but the jumping is all scuffed and like broken.
Bro.
And then I just die, and it's like, that's not hardcore or fun.
Yeah. The fact that like proning and crouching like takes away all your stamina and stuff like that, it's just like you're just like that. You feel like you can't even react to a fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to survive every raid. I'm totally fine having a 30% survival rate. I just want to. The best part about Tarkov is being immersed and experiencing it, and you don't do that if you run around, fill your bag with food, and then die to someone before you see them.
Yeah. Yep.
All I want is for the game not to be like that.
The amount of times the other day, bro, when I was having that rough day, the amount of times I died from a one tap to a Mosin, and it didn't like they were hitting great shots on me, but it was so frustrating that I would fall over dead and my screen would be fading to black, and then I would hear the Mosin shot.
Oh, yeah,
like that
dude.
just hurts me. Even if I'm like, dude, you hit a great shot, that was a nasty shot, it's just like, it's like offensive to me that the game played the audio of the shot after I was already dead. I'm like, screw you, game. It's just so brutal.
Yeah, and dude, I've seen a lot of clips from a lot of people of some really bad desync.
Yeah.
I died. I even reported the guy because I was sus that he was a cheater. Naturally, he was legit. It was one of those things like the net code made it seem super sus.
Yeah.
Where the dude, of course he had a flashlight, but I think he had an STM with the green tracer rounds.
Okay.
I was inside of Emercom Medical, so you can't take a single step in that place without it being like,
dude,
clang, clang, clang. Like there's just no way to. So I just stood there. He was outside, like in a fight with scavs, and I stood there and like couldn't take a step, couldn't even like swivel. I just sat. I just slowly turned around and aimed towards the door, right?
Yeah.
And naturally, the guy comes and peeks, and he had an audio cue that, like,
yeah.
I thought he shouldn't be able to hear, but audio. So and he peeks the door. Full flashlight, so I'm completely blinded, and I just see green tracers, shot. I'm just pre-firing, like, just hoping he'll like lean in so that I don't get net coded. And then he stopped shooting, so then I run and like go to push forward like the side of the door so that there's no line of sight, right? So I can like push up towards the door and cut off the angle. And I'm completely out of his field of view. And then I die. And on his screen, he wide swept out and was on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
Just full shooting at me.
Yeah.
I never saw the bullets, never saw him move. It's like,
yeah.
And it was a lucky situation where because my name in game is Veritas.
Oh, okay.
He came into the stream and was like, yo, GG's. And I was like, you don't happen to have a recording of that? He's like, oh, I can shadow play that. I'm like, please do. And I saw it, and it's like, wow, holy that was bad. And I've just seen so many clips of that, and it's like, it's just another thing where, like if you didn't feel like you died to cheaters, or you didn't feel like you died to netcode, or you didn't feel like you died to the AI, or you didn't feel like you died to stamina, or you didn't feel like you died to energy, or you didn't feel like you died to the weight system, or you didn't feel like, all of those combined is why I whine and complain so much.
Yeah.
You know? And the desync and the cheaters, then the netcode, those are challenging.
Yeah.
And I will give them the pass to take the next 5 years to work on it.
Yeah.
All the other things,
yeah,
I gave them the solution in a fully formed video with all of the UIs mocked up 3 years ago and said, here's how you fix it, right? And nothing's been done, and that's why I mauled all the time. But anyways, it's the mauled cast. A lot of people live vicariously through it. A lot of people rage
and hate us.
They rage at me they complain at me constantly for complaining, which the irony is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But how do you feel about the sound?
Bro, the sound is bad. Like, obviously you've done a lot. Like, you did multiple videos, you did the test, you've done some work with Binural. I am just a dumb boy that doesn't know anything about Oculus audio or Binural or anything like that, but it's not very good. And it's
not very good. That's a diplomatic way of putting it.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, it's absolutely atrocious.
Not very good.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely atrocious. Well, like we talked about last week, some of like the new sound cues are really, really good, but like the positional audio and the vertical audio are just like interchange. You just legitimately can't tell what floor they're on. Shoreline at all. The whole thing is just a pancake. Shoreline is one floor now, and everyone sounds like they're on the same floor. Like, it's just...
That's the only good thing, is that I think you hear a lot more things you shouldn't in a broken way, but that's less bad than, not hearing somebody you should, which is still a problem in many situations.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if you had it.
The frustrating thing is that when it sucks, it's a breeding ground for bad things to happen. I've seen 50 times in the past 24 hours. I've seen turn on Windows Sonic, turned on 5.1. That will help. Download Dolby Atmos surround.
Pay for DTS, whatever the fuck.
Pay for DTS. And I'm not saying that I don't know. I'm just saying that when the audio sucks, everybody feels like they've come up with the solution. And I don't know that all of them are solutions. And if they are pseudo kind of making it better, but then the audio gets better and then those things are still recommended, it's just like, I can just see it unfolding that a year and a half from now, people are going to be like, I heard in a YouTube video, you're supposed to pay for DTS and download it. And we're going to be losing our minds.
Yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to see the 2 videos I did, the audio test first. I don't expect.
I did watch that. I didn't take the Google thing, but I could tell you that for like 40% of the answers, I just didn't have an answer. Like I could tell you that like for 40% of the answers, I would have just guessed. Like I couldn't tell. It was like, is this front or behind you? And I was like, I legitimately can't tell. I would have just guessed.
And that's exactly the point.
Yep. I would have just guessed.
Exactly the point.
So I listened to it and I had it up on the other monitor and I was like, most of these I truly don't know. I would just be a guess.
Yeah, that's exactly the point, because when people were complaining about the performance with binaural on, and I haven't done any testing to see if the amount of people that have talked about it, especially with like AMD folks that have said like they hear like audio doubling and echoing and whatever. It seems like that maybe an AMD thing. I don't know. The number of people that have reported issues is enough for me to be like, yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
But when I did the tests, so what I did was, and I had like 5 hours of testing footage.
Okay.
And only managed to pull like 30 tests out of it. But I created a ton of specific audio scenarios, controlled what they were, right? There's someone reloading, in front of you and whatever, or behind you or above you. And it wasn't until I put them side by side, because I had to go through and, I did like 50 things in a raid on one map.
Yeah.
And then I went in, turned binaural on, restarted the game, and replicated the same exact things on the same map. And it wasn't until I put them all together, cut them up, and was like, okay, let's put this scenario with it on, and this scenario with it off, and I put them side by side and I played them, and it was like, wait, there's no difference. And every single thing I did, there was no difference.
With binaural on or off in this current version of the game.
In this current version of the game, there was no difference. So now it's hard because people are like, you should just be able to like check the waveforms. The game isn't consistent enough where, you know, like if you take a footstep, it's like play footstep _1.mp3, you know, like it's obviously not how it works, but, and then it's like _2, _3. So it would basically be like the most annoying, next to impossible thing to try to replicate the exact same sound.
Yeah.
You don't have control to make sure that you make the same footstep in the same relation from your character with two different settings between restarts of the game. Like, it's just impossible.
Yeah.
But then when I was doing some of the preliminary, like cutting it up and doing comparisons on stream before I made the videos, there were people that were saying, I hear the difference. So here I am thinking like, okay, well, there's two scenarios. They're out of their mind.
Yep.
Right? Or there's something that somehow I'm missing. So one of the first thing I did in the test, and I recently hit 10,000 responses. The first thing I did in the test, I mean, I lied basically to the people in a few of the tests because I snuck in 3 examples of Steam audio from last wipe.
Oh yeah.
There were basically sound clips taken from the audio test I did last year. But the first question, I recorded a footstep with binaural off. Or actually, it was I don't know if it was reloading or jumping. It might have been reloading. I said, reload your gun right now. And binaural was off. And then I said, reload your gun again. And they reloaded again. And binaural was off. Didn't restart the game. No, same exact thing. And I made those A and B. And I said, which one sounds like it's behind? And there are people that'll say, this one absolutely 100% totally different than the second one. And that to me was the marker of there's not a difference. Because there's no difference.
Yep.
And if there is a difference, like imagine if they were right and there was actually a difference. Well, then that would mean that if they reload once in front of you, that it would then maybe possibly 50% of the time sound like it was behind you the next time.
Yeah.
So in every possible scenario, it's not working properly.
Yeah.
And if you look at the distribution of the answers, like the graphs tell the entire story. So there were 3 answers. It was, which sounds the most like it's coming from behind. And it was A, B, or no difference. And every single answer in the first section where there was comparisons, and then also with a no difference. No difference was basically like 60%. It was like 2/3 of the people said no difference. And then the remaining third was always skewed to where 2/3 of them said one and 1/3 said the other.
Oh, interesting.
Now, my contention was, again, that there was no difference because it did nothing. Like, I'm as sure as I can be, and unless somebody can tell me, like, oh, you need to do this, or if you look at it this way, or whatever, that there's a difference. But if you look at every single test in the first section, no difference is, and I'm going to go through and say the percentage for no difference. 58, 58, 64, 40, which was an interesting one, 49. Okay, never mind. I'm in the next section. So you're talking 40 to 60% said no difference. And then the rest of them couldn't make up their mind. Like there was never unanimity, basically, except for if you look at tests 4 and 7, those were ones
with the Steam audio.
One was in front and one was behind, and it was Steam audio.
What were
Did you see the results video by any chance?
No.
Okay.
What were the percentages on that?
So when you look at the graphs of the other ones, it's like, 20%, 20%, 60%, that kind of distribution. The first Steam Audio one is 12% said A, 5% said no difference, and 82% said B.
Oh my God.
Which was correct.
Which was Steam Audio.
It was literally everybody said B, and then a tiny bit of people who, for whatever reason, said A or no difference. And then if you look at number 7, it's 74% said it was in front of you when it was in front of you, and 18 and 8%. So again, no difference with binaural here now is 60%, and then people can't decide on A or B. Yeah.
But
Steam Audio was 70 to 80%. So then the second section of the test was there were 10 situations where they were all binaural off. And then section 3 were the same 10 scenarios with binaural on. And I didn't ask like which is better.
Yeah.
It was only one thing, and I said, are they front or behind? Is it above or below? Is it
Gotcha.
It was basically asking, like, what are you hearing? Where is it? So this was a different way of isolating. So then now I could compare within section 1, right? You could compare the results in inter questions.
Yes.
This was to compare the results from the 2 sections, and hoping that I could maybe average out the responses from the 10, into one section. So if you look at all the results from all of the questions in both sections, I would say half of them, the answers, whether it's like front or behind or above you, below you, whatever, are like 54%, 45%, 45%, 56%, like 50-50, like almost all 51, 49. That's half of them. The other half. So if you break up the other half, all of the responses, it's so weird, these patterns, dude. It's 2/3 and 1/3. 2/3 of the people would say one answer, and then 1/3 of the people would say the other. And if you look at all of those, half of them, that majority is correct. The other half, the majority is wrong.
So half the time, 2/3 of the people got it wrong. And half the time, 2/3 of the people got it right.
And the remaining time, it was 50-50.
So does that just make you feel like people are just guessing?
Yeah.
Like, is that the deduction? Yeah,
exactly. And a lot of this is something that I would need to do more testing on. But I had a hypothesis, and I talked about it in the video. And if you haven't seen the results video, I would recommend checking it out. Anybody that hasn't seen it, because I break down some of the methodology and the reasoning. So in one of the sections, there were 3 examples in a row. All of them were in front. The correct answer was in front. One of them was like jumping, one of them was reloading, and the other was running.
Yeah.
But in the third example, the person was outside, further away.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And the majority of people for 1 said in front, for 2 said in front, and for 3 said behind. And it's not because it sounded like it was behind, it's because they were comparing it to the previous one. It just sounded more distant and muffled, so it must be behind.
Yep.
Now, of course, I can't be sure of that, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, ultimately speaking, and then another thing that I said was, my prediction was if people are guessing and they can't tell the difference between in front or behind, what that means is that everything sounds like it's in front of you, right? Like the default is it's in front of you, so if it's behind, it doesn't sound any different. There's not a universe in which everything always sounds behind you, right?
Yeah.
You hear one sound and it's indistinguishable, and if it's totally clear, you just assume it's in front of you. So my hypothesis was that all of the ones where the correct answer was in front, that's the 2/3 are going to get that correct. And all of the ones where the correct answer is behind, the 2/3 are going to get it wrong. And that basically is the pattern.
Interesting.
So if you average everything out, and I have over 10,000 responses, it's 50-50. Now, in the last section didn't have 10 questions. It had 11. The last one was another Steam Audio example. So if you look at the last two and they were side by side, it was a player running directly behind you.
Okay.
And this is the clearest, greatest thing. I keep showing it on stream because it's amazing. So number 10 is Oculus binaural.
Yeah.
Are they in front or behind? 11 is Steam Audio. Are they in front or behind? 10,340 responses. With Oculus, it was 49.3% to 50.7%.
Oh my
exactly
God.
50-50.
Oh my God.
5,093 people said in front, 5,247 said behind.
Wow.
In test 11 with Steam Audio, it was 93% to 7%.
Oh my God. And the 93% was right.
And the 93% said behind. It was clear as day.
Oh my God.
Now, I did have some people that reached out to me and said, binaural processing does do stuff and your conclusions are wrong. And like, even if that's true, even if binaural is doing something, which was my conclusion, that like it's not doing anything other than like maybe mining Bitcoin on your machine. Like, I don't know. I don't know. If it's doing something, it's not doing anything to the audio.
Yeah.
That clearly, if it is doing something and you can hear it, fine.
Yeah.
But it's a problem that 5,000 people can't agree with another 5,000 people, and they're all split on everything when 9,500 people can with Steam Audio.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is that Oculus binaural should be just as good. There have been tests, people have done it. There's no, like, HRTF is not super complicated. It's been solved.
Yeah, and
like,
HRTF isn't exclusive to Steam Audio, so it's not like it would sound different. It's like it could sound just as good in that binaural functionality, and it should, is what you're saying. It should. So,
and in my opinion, that is actually, and this is like my pinned comment, it's actually kind of encouraging, because what it means is the analogy that I no, not even that it's broken. The analogy that I made was that, and it's confusing because the analogy I made was using video, but don't get bogged down by that. The analogy I made was that the new audio system is like you get a brand new computer monitor. It's plugged into the wall, so it's drawing power, i.e. your frames. It's using resources. And everybody's sitting looking at the monitor going, this monitor's broken. And they're going, LG, Asus, whoever, fix your monitor. The monitor's broken, fix it. And they're looking at the internals of the monitor. There's no short circuits. Everything's working fine. What do you mean? And I happened to be the first person that looked in the back and saw the HDMI cable wasn't plugged in.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually way better than it's broken, because it's harder to fix a monitor than it is to just plug it in.
Yeah.
So I have a hope, hopefully it's not copium, that that they'll be like, oh, we just didn't like set, dev mode equals true or something, and it's just we need to do that.
Yeah. It's
and then all
power,
of a sudden
but it's not working.
I don't know. So
dude, I hope so. I mean, and going back to the podcast we did last week, right after, that was my hope. It was like, the audio sucks. The hope is that Oculus Audio is just more, it's a PC when Steam Audio was a Mac. It's just more repairable. It's easier for them to get in and make changes. That's the hope, because we said last week, we said the same thing when Steam Audio came out. We were like, it's not perfect, but the road to perfect is there. Hopefully they make it better. And then we had 2 years of absolutely no changes. So like the copium, the hope that I have to have is that Oculus Audio also sucks. And I didn't think it could suck worse, but it sucks worse than Steam Audio. But hopefully it's just repairable and movable in the right direction. And something like that would be sick if they were just like, oh, we forgot to plug it in.
Yeah. So
to the thing.
I passed on all my information to Nikita, and he said he would pass it on to the audio team. Now, someone in chat said, well, if that was true, then they would have fixed it by now. That's just not how software development works.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna. The scariest thing ever is when someone like reports a major bug with something, and you like, if it's a one-line code fix, that's still like, you don't just change the code and then push it live. because that's when you take the whole website down because of some other dumb that shouldn't have gone in or whatever, and then you try to do it again. You make the change and you give it some testing and you give it a couple days, and it usually will go out with like the next thing that you were planning on doing in a few days or next week or whatever. So this is one of those things that I don't know, like my gut is telling me, and I don't have context on this, so it's not anything that anybody should like take super seriously, but like my gut is telling me that this is a thing that, you know, we should see a fix for in a week, hopefully.
That would be so great.
It still might gobble frames, and it still might be unusable in that regard, but that's hopefully something that they can work on.
Yeah.
And clearly they have done more, like, to their credit, they've done more with Oculus than they ever did with Steam Audio, because Oculus, and I asked Nikita this and he confirmed that Oculus, so before what we had was the base system that BSG built like on top of Unity. They built all the occlusion layers, they did all of this stuff, and then all Steam Audio was a tiny layer on top that did some processing to give you the HRTF, the binaural. Well, now Oculus it's fundamentally integrated into that underlying system. I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know if it's 90-10 either direction. I'm not sure. There are still some weird things that are the way that they used to be.
Yeah.
Where
you're like, that's the Tarkov in there.
So I don't think they've completely replaced it. But then there are totally new things, like a lot of the staircase silence issues. A lot of them have gone away. There's new like silent zones and occlusion issues.
Yeah.
But like dorms, stairs don't have the same exact kind of, they're still not perfect, but they don't have the same problem
like
they used to.
You'll hear them running, you won't be sure what floor they're on, but before you would just not hear them until they got 3 steps away from you. So it's like, it's not perfect, it's not even good, but there's audio, you know what I mean? So yeah,
and then the filtering that they do for the occlusion is funky, and it makes it, the way that I can describe it is, if you've ever seen like a GoPro video with the GoPro audio, imagine someone's like surfing and all of a sudden they go under the water, and it's like, this guy. It's like, it's this weird phasing, like whatever. And one of the things I did at the end of the results video, I had a ton of examples that didn't make it in, but I just wanted to put in there. And one of them was, I was standing in factory office, looking through the wall towards the staircase, the one near like the hole in the wall on the 3rd floor. And my test subject went from the bottom floor and just ran up the stairs to the top landing and then back down the stairs.
Yeah.
And it was like muffled, a little less muffled, clear, but it sounds like it's underwater in the left ear, but it's underwater in the right ear, a little less muffled, clear, totally muffled, clear, muffled, more muffled. And it was like what was that?
Yeah.
You know, and then one of the examples I did in the test was, it was someone above me, directly above me, just running in circles. Most people said behind, which that was a question that maybe wasn't so great, because like if someone's directly above you and they're running in circles, like it's kind of in front and then on your right and then behind and then on the left and then in front. But, you know, I still wanted to see if anybody could tell that it was prominently above you. But the thing was, it was like, clear, muffle, clear, muffle, clear, and it's like, but there's nothing that would do that.
That should change the status from muffled to clear.
And one of the most egregious examples of some of these occlusion issues that exist now in the new system was at the end of the video in that montage. There's a room in Streets where the window has like a bunch of boards on it, but it's totally open. There's no glass. It's just a few boards.
Oh yeah.
And if the guy is running outside, it's totally clear, totally clear. As soon as he walks in front of the board, it's totally muffled, totally muffled, totally clear. The board completely, like it's 20 feet of lead, muffles the audio.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how sound works. But clearly it's just drawing a ray cast from your head to the sound source and says, oh, there's something in the way, occlude it.
The board, it's like, muffle it. Yeah.
So now think about when someone's running up the stairs and there's multiple stairwells and doors and floors and walls and everything in the way.
That's why it's down. Yeah.
That's why it's constantly like it's just kind of awkward. And
Yeah.
I don't know. That's going to be just difficult.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole other kettle of fish that they're going to have to, I don't know, sort through, because now to debug and tweak, it's not their code anymore. They can't just move their own manual occlusion boxes.
Oh yeah, they have to.
I don't know what kind of access they have.
Yeah.
If they can't figure it out, are they gonna work with the devs? Are they gonna help them as much or as little as Steam Audio?
Steam Audio, yeah.
You know, like, who knows? I have no idea. So I don't know, man. Like,
That's brutal.
yeah, it's a mixed bag. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
I'm like both encouraged and excited while also like discouraged. And
Yeah.
because now I basically said turn off binaural after spending a year convincing everybody to turn it on.
Yep.
And the community convinced Nikita to rip it out. And then now all of a sudden the community is saying Steam Audio is so great, where to go?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude,
Veritas is only right in hindsight.
dude, I hope, like you said, I hope it's not, obviously not simple, but I hope it's like fixable. I hope it's workable and that it just gets better. Because yeah, like you said, there's layers to it. There's like there's differences in what the issues are. Like you said, the running up and down the stairs, that's something you can kind of like see, like, oh, I guess I can see if it's just going to be drawing a line. But then there's just like audio not playing, or audio, dude, interchange. I don't know.
Yeah, and so the last group of tests that I didn't mention, which I thought was really interesting and something totally worth knowing, was there was a question that was like, there's somebody in a building near you running nearby.
Yeah.
Are they above you, below you, or on the same level? And there were 3 versions. And all of them were, you're in factory office.
Okay.
One of them was the person was on the bottom floor 1.
Yeah.
And you're on floor 3. The other 2, the person was just outside in the hallway running back and forth, but the door opened and the door closed. Completely changes the audio.
Oh, yeah.
And the vast majority of people, when the door was closed, said that they were above.
Gotcha.
The remaining said below. Nobody said the same floor. So that's a thing where, you know, I've done 8 bajillion hours on factory, and now it's like when you hear this muffled footsteps, I have to now, like, I can't discern whether or not it's muffled because the door is closed and they're they're right outside the door, or they're on the first floor. You know, like, so
yeah.
There's a lot of it where some of it you could say that you have to get used to.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, well, we need to give Oculus a chance. You just have to get used to it. That's why you don't like it. The audio's fine for me.
Yeah.
And yet they'll get 3 out of 21 correct on the test.
Yeah.
Because they don't realize. That's the thing, is that people don't realize.
For sure. Until you do the blind thing, because there's so much context, right? You might see a guy in front of you and then hear that audio and be like, oh, the audio's fine. I understood where that was. But like, would you have understood where that was if you hadn't seen him? And that's the thing, is that like, obviously in the game, it's always those things together, but audio is such an important part of the game, and it needs to be able to be good in a vacuum, isolated. And yeah.
People forget that, though. So many people say, well, what you didn't include in your tests was, you know, the ability to turn your head and the map knowledge. And it's like, I didn't include those on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm isolating all of the variables.
Yeah.
The fact that you can do that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have, like, it doesn't mean that you need to. And the Steam Audio examples prove it.
Yeah.
Because people know where the sound is. They have no visual clues, no context clues, nothing. And they can tell the difference.
That's the audio version of saying the flea market should be complicated and really hard to list things because it's hardcore. That's all. It's like you can.
I can kill the rogues because I cheese them, so don't
deduce
fix it.
that, but you'd be able to deduce it so much better and so much more accurately and so much easier, and your experience would be so much better if the audio was just good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Instead of once again mastering a broken system or mastering a bad mechanic doesn't mean the mechanic of the system is good, and it doesn't mean you're freaking the best in the world. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just.
Have you noticed that, like, the tail end, this actually, like, is honestly, for me, the most annoying thing is hearing distant gunshots that are inside buildings when I'm on streets, and I hear a distant gunshot a mile away. It's so loud in like my left ear if they're over there, but then so it's super loud in one ear,
Yeah.
and then on the right ear there's the reverberation with like a weird.
You were saying this
like,
last week. I haven't noticed
noise.
it a single time.
I'll have to
why.
like watch a few of your VODs or something and see if it's there, and yours not, because it could be the whole stuttering while walking.
I was about to say, me not hearing it does not mean it's not happening, bro. Somebody will shoot at me, and then everyone will be like, "Where was the impact?" And I'll be like, "I don't know." You know what I mean? Like they could totally be.
Oh God. I hope you haven't. I don't want to be the guy that like points out the thing that you're like, no, I can't unhear it, man. So I'm sorry if I did, but like
you didn't hear the clock ticking in the room, and now it's all you can hear when you're trying to go to sleep.
You are now manually breathing, you know, like you are now manually blinking. Yeah, I don't know, but it's and that's just annoying. It's annoying, and it's like can be painful. The sound is so much louder with headphones too. Like I feel like the difference between headphones and no headphones is way more drastic than it ever was.
Yeah.
Which is like even crazier. I actually did all of the tests. All the tests I published in the video, I had active headphones on in the game just because everything was so much quieter, and I had to boost the volume up so much, and I didn't want to like do that in post, you know, for fear of being like accused of manipulating the audio. But in all of my tests where there were no headphones, the same results. Like there was no difference between binaural on or off, and this is where the Tower just said, this is where we learn they fixed perception skill. Yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. And so it's hard because it's just like, once again, the patch notes literally said, we highly recommend turn binaural on, like for the best experience. You know what I mean? Like they were confident it was doing something, and it's pretty clear it's not doing the thing they thought. You know what I mean? So
and that's kind of what scares me. Like people are like, well, how could this have possibly gotten past QA? And the reason why is, you know, people say they hear the difference between binaural on versus off. But like I know they're lying. Or not even lying, or that they're mistaken and they don't realize it. Because think about what you'd have to do. You would have to, like, you're going to do a raid on Shoreline, let's say, for example, and you're going to spawn in one place and run to another place and get in a fight in one place and hear people in one place. And then you're going to reboot your game. 40 minutes are going to go by, and then you're going to have a completely different audio experience. Yeah. And you're going to conclude it sounded different.
Exactly. I mean,
if I say, is this the same note as is note A beep the same as note B, and I wait 40 minutes and I go beep, you're not going to remember whether it was the same or not. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. It's similar with like desync. It's such a, if you had a really desyncy raid and then you auto sorted your stash, and for the next 3 raids, it wasn't desyncy at all, and you were like, oh, all you have to do is auto sort. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard to have a one-to-one experience. And a better example is exactly like you said about the performance issue, where like so many people had accrued an enormous memory leak, and then they turned binaural off and they restarted their game and they got a bunch of frames back, and they said, binaural took all my frames. And binaural may and probably does have some sort of performance impact, but it has to be isolated to see if it's the problem. So unless you have the same experience, it's really so hard to say that. Like really, if I was like, and I think I was like that, I was like, oh, binaural sounds better. I turned it off and it sucked. And it was probably just because not every single raid, when somebody walks up behind you, you don't hear them. And if I had just turned it off, and then after a raid that did that, and then the next raid, I heard everybody that walked up behind me, so many times we make that decision, binaural was better, or I should turn binaural off. We make that in one raid, and then we close that opinion and we tuck it away. And we might have 8 raids in a row where the audio is garbage, but somebody asks me, what do you think about binaural? But we made that opinion, you know what I mean? Because of the back-to-back raids of those two. And so it's really hard. Now, once again, I'm not saying I don't know how much performance impact it does. It seems like based on your testing, it doesn't do much as far as like actually changing the audio or anything at all. So it's just like, it's just so interesting because there's the empathy there when some people are like, oh, I totally hear the difference. You know what I mean? Or I liked it better. It's like, okay, take the test. You know, like you've provided the way, you provided the thing that's like, if you really do, you'll get these answers right. You know what I mean? Like, just go ahead and take the test. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it did something and people could tell and there was a difference, then the results wouldn't be,
50,
they wouldn't
50.
average out to 50-50 everywhere and then be 90-10 for Steam Audio, you know? Like,
Yes. Yes.
So yeah. And yet, like, despite all of the whining and all of the complaining and stuff, I am actually, like, I don't know how long I will be.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm still kind of want to play Tarkov and play a little bit. And, you know, I mean, it could be, like, I have 3 bad days and I'm
On forever, yeah.
Yeah. So the problem is, though, is that I went in, like, full drops mode, full wipe mode, and now I'm kind of, like, out of chess mode.
Yeah.
So now it's like, if I fall out of Tarkov mode, oh god,
What am I gonna do?
Then I'm in the depth of what am I gonna do? I just need Kerbal Space Program 2 is what I really. That's the balm I need.
Yeah.
The salve I need.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, it's like I say all these things, I have all these issues, I bring forth all these frustrations, but like I'm more hopeful, like in a hopium way, like all of these issues, despite all of them and after all these years, I still believe more than ever the potential. I may be a little bit more cynical about like if I think BSG is going to reach all that potential, but like that's why I bring all these things, is because like I still love playing Tarkov and I love when it works, and I just want it to work so bad. And like the things like the netcode and stuff like that and the cheaters, like you said, those are so hard. But it's just like what's exhausting is so many of these other things seem simpler and seem like we could just like get there and get to like so much more of a fun experience, not a perfect experience. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't expect a perfect experience. I don't expect, you know what I mean? People are like, it's a beta, you know, things are going to be wrong. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot of things, you know what I mean? Or they've been wrong for a long time. So I'm still just as excited and hopeful for Tarkov as I've ever been. I just like, I don't know. I really hope that the copium is true, that like Streets was a big milestone. They're going to spend a few months optimizing the patch we have, and they're going to be able to really spend a lot of time working on all this other stuff. Who the freaking heck knows? But yeah, I mean, I'm having a ton of fun. The wipe has been super fun. I like a lot of the changes that were made to the existing content. I like a lot of the new content. The hideout is sick. The shooting range is epic. The gym is really cool. It looks like there's more stuff there. I like that they are already doing like events and stuff like that. I love that we're 8 days in and nobody's gotten to Lightkeeper the right way. I love that we still don't know how that is. I love that we still don't know what he's going to sell. I love that not all the mystery of the wipe has been completely taken away 8 days in. There are good things, but it's just so hard to revel in those good things when you die to a scav, and then you die to desync, and then you die to a cheater, and then you die because you didn't hear somebody. You know what I mean? That cycle takes us out of the good things that are in this patch.
Yeah,
so
man.
Yeah.
Preach.
But yeah. Have you seen Shooting Range V2 or V3?
I haven't seen it. I've literally been like clicking away from all of the gym. I have no idea what the gym looks like. No idea what you even do. I want to experience the things.
Okay.
It's so easy to have like the stuff like spoiled as a content creator because you rush to it, or you like watch a video and have someone like everything you need to know about whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. Well, now I know. So I'm like looking forward to knocking the wall down and like seeing what the it looks like. And you know, like
the Shooting Range, dude. It's so good. Even
is it actually like what I've been asking for?
So there's 3 levels. Do you want to know, or do you want to just experience it?
I mean, I already know that it's got like moving paper targets and like or moving targets, moving metal ones.
There's 3 levels. The first level is just what we had before. Level 2 is there's 3 targets that hang from the ceiling, and there's 3 speeds that you can set them to move.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can do is you can stop, and then you click inspect, and all 3 of them come straight in front of you, and you see where your shots hit. And then you just...
And can you like clear it?
And then you look down, and there's a paper target, and you press F on replace targets, and they all replace. And then You press another button on the controller and they fold up. And there's 3 targets all the way at the back, and you can snipe with them. When you shoot and you turn to the left, there's 3 security camera monitors that are zoomed in on the upper chest and the head of those targets. So you can see if you hit your shots.
Get the out of here,
so
dude.
Sick, dude. And that's just at level 2. There's another level.
Has anybody gotten 3? Probably. I'm sure
yeah, somebody did. Mine is constructing. It takes 24 hours to construct.
That one's got like built-in flashlights and
yeah, 100%.
It makes it so that your hydration.
Apparently, it has actual timed trials where like you can press start and then until you shoot all the targets and it tells you how many hits and misses. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
It's like a mini game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know why I just got reminded of the Ocarina of Time.
Oh God.
Slingshot pling on the rupees. Oh my God, amazing.
So
that's sick, dude. That's
it's
sick.
Like stuff like that they've done. So good. S tier.
Oh man. Hell yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I love.
That makes me wonder. And this isn't for my own like tooting my own horn. It's just curiosity. Where for the longest time I was like malding about how annoying the shooting range was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they need to make it so that you can have paper targets and clear and had all these ideas. And for so long, Nikita was kind of like, yeah, there's more coming. And so much of us were like, sure there is.
Yeah,
like I'm sure that. So what I want to know is like how much of what we have now was stuff Nikita planned 5 years ago, or how much was taken from feedback from the community, or after the I no idea.
Yep. But whoever was put on that nailed it. Like whoever was like, hey, do the shooting range. Like,
yeah,
that man goes to the range. You know what I mean? That man goes to the range and knows what would be sick.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we'll see, man. I love that there's still mystery. I like the Lightkeeper. I just love that we still don't know how to get to him. Oh, there was a bug. Did you hear about the bug on how to get to him?
A bunch of people came in and were like, do you know how to solve the blah, 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 blah when you do the blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, well, no, but now I know everything about.
Yeah. You know the task.
Yeah. Is it worse now?
No.
Did they change it? Okay.
Only if you failed bullshit, you got an item from Skier. And that item, it's like this weird.
Also, everyone.
Nobody
first times that.
Mogrifier, electronic, I don't know what it was. But you put it in a slot, and you pull it out, and it beeps. It goes beep, 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 beep. And if you have that in your hand and it's beeping, you could just walk across the bridge. None of the claymores would explode. And you could just walk across and just walk up to the Lightkeeper, and you got access to him.
And he says like, hello, I am NPC, and then nothing happens.
Oh, you haven't seen. Oh, yeah. Have you seen any of the videos?
Well, no, but
I
forget who it was. Someone told me that they were like mad, or that like people in the community were pissed that, I don't know if it was like data mining or whatever, but basically like he does nothing, and like I'm sure something's gonna come from it.
Yeah, those people,
point.
they just it's not there yet. But like everybody was like, there's no shot you get the item by failing a task, and that task has nothing to do with the Lightkeeper and its flavor text. It's not a lighthouse task. There's nothing.
There's got to be another way to
10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, but super quick. It got patched out, and like apparently Nice Guy was in contact with them, and they DM'd. They were like, that was not supposed to happen. That's not how you do it. It wasn't supposed.
Oh, it wasn't even intentional.
Wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't supposed to be a failure for bullshit. The people that had the thing, the item still, they pulled it out and it was making a different beeping noise, and they would die to the mines.
What the dude?
Yeah.
Oh my! Imagine it'd be like, here's the. Hey guys,
here's the magic wand.
Bloodman 69. Here's my guide on how to speedrun Lightkeeper, and here you gotta go in. And you gotta take this little thing out. You failed bullshit. You gotta go, and then everybody watches the guide. And they're like, what the dude? The guide doesn't work. What the hell, man?
Yep.
Oh god.
So I don't know how it ended up like that. It was confirmed not supposed to be that way, and they fixed it. So now we still don't know how you get to Lightkeeper. We still don't know anything like that. All we know is that Zerachi has cultists as his boys, and if you kill them, they'll keep respawning until you kill Zerachi.
Realism.
Realism.
Yo, dude, now I just want to go and make a guide video in a way that would completely troll everyone. Now I'm just now I'm totally like, here's how you do a thing, and need to make it so that it's like impossible.
Yeah. Here's how to clean the face shield.
I've got 4 months. I've got 4 months till April 1st to come up with a quest guide video for yeah, here's how you max out your level on whatever. You got to do this and this and this and this, and it's like the hardest thing to ever do, and you get literally nothing at the end. But at the I'll like Photoshop some amazing like
max strength,
some like single player Tarkov mod that like isn't Tarkov, but I'll lie to everybody and say it is. Yeah, I'll figure it out
for the clicks.
And everybody who's listening to this right now, it's your reward. See, this is why you listen to the podcast.
Yeah, so you don't get trolled.
We throw in the spoiler. Like next time I do like a lottery thing, I'm telling you, I tell you guys the numbers during the podcast. You know,
yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
People were upset that I forgot about story time.
Oh,
I got a quick story that I can say. It's like literally very quick.
I missed it.
Wedding Brawl is too good for me to cut. Most of these involve some context, and it's, you know, you've been up for too late for me to keep you for one of those long ones. Oh yeah, really quickly, 1899, the show that we talked about, that's like the most amazing thing ever. We found out it's canceled, and basically like I'm about to
Amazon, freaking stars.
Elon Musk.
I don't get Elon Musk. Starlink
Please.
TV. Somebody save 1899. God dang.
Yeah, no season 2 apparently, and it's like the saddest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm pissed, and I mean the year is literally starting off like dog solely because of that. So 2023, when's 2024? When's the wipe on this year? All right, so the quick one I can do is finger cut in half incident. So even though this was approaching 20 years ago, and like the statute of limitations on what I'm about to say is passed, I'm gonna names and brands and companies have been changed to protect the innocent.
Okay.
So you know Fruit Ninja?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to work at a place, let's call it Shmoney Baked Ham, when I was like 15. The food there is amazing, but knowing what I know, I wouldn't get anything personally from there anymore.
Not from Shmoney Baked Ham.
Knowing the things that were done. So I had my first long-term girlfriend. This is when I was like from 15 to 18 or 19. 15 to 19, basically. It was me and her. We worked together. Her older sister was like our boss. And my best friend and her best friend were also a couple there. The things that went on there behind closed doors after hours, I don't want to talk about. But all I can say is we were really bored because there's nothing to do when you work at one of those places until Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
At which point you need we had a police officer in the lobby because people would fight over ham, dude.
What?
Like,
what are you
every
doing?
Year there was an assault. Nothing. There was a period of time where they were making sandwiches. I don't know if they do anymore, but we were super bored. So one of the things that we were doing on this, and again, this is all in GTA.
Yeah.
This is all.
Shmoney Baked Ham is in GTA.
For any hypothetical, this is all for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where we were doing this whole like, you know, you'd have the onions and like the head of lettuce and cabbage, and you'd throw it, and we'd have these big knives and like whoosha, whoosha, and we were playing Fruit Ninja in the sandwich station. And we were having a real good time. And at one point, for some reason, and this is one of those like hindsight 2020 kind of things.
Never could have saw it coming.
I don't know why. Neither of us, me and my buddy Steve, neither of us at any point thought that this next thing I'm about to say was a bad idea. He grabbed a head of lettuce. You can call it like this, right? And was like, all right, dude, slice it. So he didn't throw it. and I did this like
Bro.
samurai sword, line up the thing, and
Bro.
content warning for people who maybe don't like injuries or blood or anything like this. Content warning. Fast forward like 4 minutes. He was holding it like this, you know, like, and I went, huh, schwack, vertical wise, in the middle of his thumb. Basically, like past the fingernail.
Oh, Jesus.
And, you know, here's the best part. He was like skinnier than me. Like, you know, you can call me a beta, whatever. The same people who would call me a beta would look at him and say he's whatever comes after a beta, like just a scrawny. And he was like, oh, I would have been like, ah, you know, and he was like, well, that sucks. Now, there was a lot of blood.
Bro.
So anybody that wants to tell me that, oh, you got your finger cut in half, dude, you wouldn't be able to run.
Yeah.
I don't know. My buddy Steve, who was all of 93 pounds, was able to, geez, he was just like, oh, dog.
Oh,
and so there was blood
God.
everywhere. And then it was that day that like the regional manager came in.
Oh.
While we were like
Cleaning
IRL
up the
bandage
blood.
med animations. And we basically were like, we were cutting the ham with the ham slicer and blah, blah. And because of this whole ordeal, now he was fine. Because of this whole ordeal, it was like a countrywide, like, new rule, got cut-proof gloves, like, need to blah, blah, like, new regulations around because the ham slicers were dangerous.
Woof. That is...
There was one last story, because I just remembered it. They had all of the, there's like giant walk-in fridge and then a walk-in freezer. Yeah, I'm the reason why all you schmucks have to wear cut-proof gloves. Sorry. And they're like big doors with like frosted glass, kind of similar to like if your grandmother has like a shower door, you know, like that. And again, we were just bored all the time. So at one point we were just like running around, like chasing each other, just like horsing around, being 15-year-old idiots. So we were like doing circles, and I would like open the door, run in the fridge, open the door, run in the freezer, and then at one point I was like gonna just bust out the freezer door, but my friend had gone around and was holding the door shut, and I went shoulder first, and the entire thing shatters, all the glass, because it's like,
bro, how did
freezer.
you not get fired from this job?
Well, because I slipped in the freezer. They don't want,
because we
don't want a lawsuit. Are you okay? You can take the day off. Are you okay? It's not because I slipped. You're just horsing around, having fun, and then all of a sudden, the freezer, there's glass everywhere. You know, there was no injuries. You know, no blood in this incident, but yeah, dude,
bro, unreal.
And again, this was like literally 20 years ago. So if you're like Shmoney Big Tam regional legal coordinator, again, this was all in GTA. It's for entertainment purposes. None of this actually happened in real life.
Correct. That's insane.
I can't wait to ask ChatGPT about the finger cut in
Shmoney
half
Big
incident.
Tam.
Yeah, Veritas used to work at a place called, and then it quotes Shmoney Big Tam, which we know he was referring to the actual real place. Honey Big, like, whoa, what the?
After a few more episodes, you'll just be able to ask him, like, what has Veritas done in GTA? And it'll be like a whole list of...
Veritas has lied and said he did all of these things in GTA in jest to cover up actual real illegal things. So it's like, what? Joe, don't call me out.
Yeah.
AI, the bots are going to get me arrested.
Bro.
It was GTA, dude.
Bro. Dude.
Anyway, I really want to talk about Wedding Brawl.
That we gotta do next week.
But that's gonna take some time. You should go to bed.
Yeah.
I feel bad. You've been up for what, like 15 bajillion hours?
Yeah, but dude, the day stream was so much better. It's just I just can't do the all-nighters, man. I woke up at 6, got on at 7, and yes, it's 10 p.m., but so much better. I'm feeling good. I'm just hungry. You know what I mean? So,
well, go get some rest, dude.
But yeah, man, dude, enjoy your overnight with the drops with all the homies.
I just claimed a drop, my first drop actually, because I had my own stream up on my laptop. I have never claimed a drop. Actually, no, I claimed one. I don't know how though, because I wasn't watching any streams when I was streaming. I wonder what I got.
He was just like, here, take a drop. But yeah, so yeah, for those, all the new people here from the drops that got to experience the podcast, if you missed any part of it or if you're interested in more, we post these on our YouTube. We're 134 episodes deep, which is kind of crazy. This will be live on the YouTube and all the podcast platforms early next week. Thanks so much for hanging with us, and we will definitely see y'all in the next one.
Peace.